That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to episode this one of That's a Shame. I remember just as I was saying it, we don't say the number anymore, do we?
No, we don't.
We don't say the number, we don't say the date.
No.
We don't say who we are.
No.
It's an anonopod.
No, it's not. We do say who we are. You make sure of it every time.
I'm only
It's
known
one of your
online
fave things.
as Mr. I. And you?
I'm known as Declan.
Oh, very
I'm
cool.
friend of Isaac.
Yeah, who's that?
Well, could be anyone.
Could be
anyone's
anyone.
guess.
Ooh. Welcome back to a free episode of the podcast you know and love. A podcast that's like a mother's milk trickling down your fat baby chin every Sunday. That's a shame.
Is that good?
Well, I think so, because they say mother's milk is usually considered a good thing, right?
Yeah, but you'd want it inside the baby, not dribbling all down.
My point is the baby has such a glut of milk available to it in the form of the podcast, to continue the metaphor.
His teat overfloweth.
Well, it's not his teat. It's the... I suppose, you know...
Exactly.
I still don't think it's his, and I don't like that you've gendered the baby, but that's on you. Mr. I would never...
That kind of mankind sort of way.
Oh, the sexist way.
Yeah, exactly. where what you do is you just kind of erase everyone else.
Well, you default to white men.
Yeah.
Straight, sorry. I should specify. Cis, sorry.
Yeah.
God, wouldn't want to
They're able-bodied, they're wealthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
American? Maybe?
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
American or maybe like English aristocracy from the 1855.
Yeah, I think they're an American who's obsessed with the English aristocracy.
Let me hit you with this one, landed.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Landlorded, that's for sure.
Yes. But goodness me, what nonsense we chat, because we've got an episode ahead of us.
We have.
Hot off the press, hot off the back of a great big NFT-tacular that some have called grossly financially illiterate. No one's
many
called
others
it that.
have called prescient that a lot of it's collapsed
Weird.
already.
But I'm sure there will be cyberpunks ready to fight the new day. CryptoPunks, I mean. Although cyberpunk probably can be an NFT if they want.
Why not?
What have we got this week, Uncle Delk?
Well, I was thinking about, recent episodes that people have been in touch to say they loved.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, and there weren't many.
No,
not
weird.
recently.
Radio silence.
So I was thinking a little further back, maybe like a year or so ago, to think about
the
any
golden
others.
age.
And they're back in the car days, people were not getting in touch. So I had to think back much further.
Episode 1.
Almost. But I was thinking about, we did some fun episodes where we looked into the absolute horror that was some of the UK's children's television.
Oh, of course.
We looked at Mr. Ben, you may remember, and all of the things he was diddling.
Was travelling through time and space, touching
and then
anything he could.
We looked a little bit at Mona the Vampire.
Good stuff.
So I thought, what else?
What else is there?
What else is there out there that possibly, because lots of children's television, very normal. So was some of it.
Not much of it, to be honest.
No, okay, very little of it. But you'd think that, like everything else, they just get the normal write-up, breakdown, what happened here and there.
Yeah.
So there was no guarantee I'd find anything weird. And yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? That's
I
good to
did,
know.
yeah.
And what's prompted this nostalgia trip? Do you feel like you're getting on? Is that it? You're starting to like rose-coloured your tinted glasses your youth.
Having, the best years of my life stolen by COVID, like all of us.
Yeah, fuck. Luckily, I'd already had mine.
It was as well the moving forward of the clock today.
Did that happen?
Just that hour.
I felt like I hadn't slept as long as my
last
clock
night.
said.
Yeah. It was very disturbing when it goes from 00:59 to 2, and you're like,
hang on,
whoa, this has been stolen.
That's rude, isn't it?
So I was thinking, fuck, time's moving on, innit?
Are we an anti-daylight savings time pod? I think we should be.
Are we going to get into it big like Peter Hitchens?
Yeah, I think that should be our main thing. It should be That's a Shame brackets specifically, comma, daylight savings time, exclamation mark, close brackets.
But we don't ever mention the date, but we are going to be mentioning the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll keep abreast of that.
That's good. All right, you find out what it would be now. Probably an hour before.
Probably so.
So The first that I looked at was a favourite that I think people outside the UK might not be as familiar with.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well,
we can spread the good news.
I am too. Exactly, we are. And it's everyone's favourite, Rosie and Jim.
Oh, Rosie and Jim. They lived on a canal boat.
They did, although, as I'm constantly told in this Wikipedia page, it's actually a narrow boat.
What's the difference?
Well, it's not.
They're both boats that go on a canal.
Yep, that's just the name of the canal.
It implies the alternative is the wide boat that's stuck in the Suez. So they had a duck friend, I remember.
We're going to come right on to duck. Don't you worry. Good. So the little intro, Rosie and Jim, sometimes written as Rosie ampersand Jim.
I thought it was always.
No.
My mistake.
Exactly, see?
God, you learn this is some Berenstain Bears shit.
Is a British children's television programme that was produced by...
Rosie and Jim.
Ragdoll Productions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and aired on ITV from 1990 to 2000.
Wow, that's a long run.
Yeah, it's quite a long... It's one of those things that sort of we found last time when we were looking where these shows either had 5 episodes.
And yet everyone talks about them as if they ran on for like their entire
childhood, as if there was a new one every day. Or they secretly made 1,000 and didn't tell anyone.
Still are. And they franchised it to like Reykjavik TV.
So the story of Rosie and Jim is thus, for those who don't know, and indeed for those who do.
And I've seen a lot of it.
Rosie and Jim are 2 rag dolls who live aboard a narrowboat called the Rag Doll.
I thought they were just humans.
No. What do you mean?
Aren't Rosie and Jim some guys?
No. They're puppets and always have been.
That's weird.
How did you miss that central...
There must be a man. There's a man there who
there's a man
who plays
There's a man
with
or a woman or another man who, like, drives the boat.
I was thinking of him, I think.
Right, and you've eschewed Rosie and Jim.
Well, they are quite scary looking.
Which is from the West Midlands.
Okay.
There, they sit with a concertina on their lap and come alive when no one is looking to explore the world that they pass by on the canal.
But only from the canal.
No, they do go aboard.
They sneak off and back on.
Yeah,
They're absolute reckless fools.
Well, you say that, but listen to this. They learn to experience things by following the ragdoll's owner on his or her adventures and secretly joining in with them. Usually they end up causing trouble, but they are never detected because no one ever sees them.
Really? Well, no wonder I didn't remember them.
Exactly.
Because we've never... Why did you show me that picture of nothing a few minutes ago? Very weird. Now, can I just clarify? There was a sentence that lost me. It sounded like it said they, as in the puppets Rosie and Jim, learn about the world by following the ragdoll's owner. What was that?
Yeah, so the ragdoll is the boat.
Oh, okay. The ragdoll is the boat.
It was a guy, then a woman, and then a guy again.
So the ragdoll is the production company and the boat, and it's the genus of Rosie and Jim.
Yeah, and we have some interesting news about the boat later on.
Okay.
But first, the characters. There's Rosie.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, I was thinking, no one ever sees them. That's a bit weird, but it's been pretty tame so far.
Yeah, it's like normal level. That's like Toy Story level of weird.
Rosie is the female rag doll. In their adventures, she carried a bag that has her name written on it.
That's fine.
She wears a yellow dress and has long, shaggy black hair.
That's a look.
She is often heard referring to the boat driver as Fizzgog. That's the first one.
Any reason about that?
Loopy Lobes. Or just Loopy.
Lobes.
That was the woman. And Tootle. That was the last guy. She sometimes calls Jim Noggin.
I don't love that.
Her skin colour became a bit darker from Series 3.
Oh, fair enough.
Yep. Possibly to make up for the fact that she was saying things that sounded vaguely like old British slurs.
Yeah, they all do sound like what fucking Rudyard Kipling would have called the
exactly.
Every single one of those. Loopy Lobes, bring me my Earl Grey.
What's that Fizzgog doing over there?
Terrible.
That's exactly feels like the vibe that they were just like, okay, we've got to have some justification for this.
I don't like the arbitrary nature of lots of children's TV where they'll just be like, well, for no reason, like we're going to introduce like Iggle Piggle. Like there's no reason for him to say that or be called that. There's none. It's never explained in the narrative. Like who named him that? Some eternal
more importantly,
being.
why?
Yeah.
Jim is the male ragdoll. In their adventures, he can be seen carrying a notebook in which he sometimes draws things that he has seen.
Oh, no.
He has short red hair and wears light brown trousers, a shirt with a red scarf and a brown waistcoat.
Again,
he also refers to the boat driver as Fizzgog, Loopy Lobes and Tootle.
Okay.
The shade of his skin has changed slightly throughout the series.
Who's making that observation in the
Why is it one of the only things we are led to know?
It's like that amazing thing that I saw on Twitter the other day where someone had been on the Wikipedia page for Goblin, as in the fictional race of goblins, and in the talk page there's this amazing internet drama that's unfurled across the ages where, like, a few years ago one of the opening sentences of the Wikipedia article for Goblin was like, goblins are a fantasy race famed for their illiteracy or something, and one of the people was like, can I just run a quick gut check on this? Like, are they famed for being illiterate? Like, I've never ever heard of that. For and this? It has been a trait of goblins, but by no means is it the main one.
When you say goblin, it's not what I think.
No,
I don't think. They'd never read Tolstoy.
It went back and forth, like, for a while, with people claiming big time that this was the main thing. So this seems to me like, as well, all of these monikers they're using for the boat people. First of all, it's weird that they didn't just say they both use all of these rather than specify individually.
Rosie did it, and then later
Rosie did it, and Jim did it, and they both did it.
The other thing is, like, why is that included in the only... Because I then assumed and tried to look for, seeing if there was some kind of controversy about their skin colour.
Yeah.
But there's nothing.
No, it's a weird thing to have
just
noticed.
randomly
it's
seems
probably
to be
just the observation of one Wikipedia editor.
Well, I'm going to say that it's the observation of one child, because as we're going to come on to later, I'm fairly certain children were heavily involved in the writing of this Wikipedia page.
No. I hope they were paid for their labour.
Definitely not.
Oh, damn.
Duck.
Oh, yes. Now, Duck, he's a fan favourite.
Duck is a wooden model of a duck.
Yeah.
Who sits on top of the ragdoll boat.
Yes.
He does not talk, but
says
can
quack.
be heard quacking and flapping his wings when there are no humans around.
If not talking.
So that both Rosie and Jim know that the coast is clear. During many episodes, either Rosie or Jim give him a kiss.
Very cool.
He is the only character...
What a weird thing to say.
He is the only character to directly interact with all three presenters, as only Cunliffe, who's the first of the boat owners, directly addressed Rosie and Jim.
What
so that the later two owners just ignored them.
It's like some Annabelle shit where they're not allowed to, like, make eye contact with the doll or fuck them up.
They seemingly every episode, the last guy who was there for the longest, his thing was playing the harmonica, and every episode they'd nick it and then, like, leave it for him to find and play later, and then they would join in with the song, but they'd never notice.
That's awful. I remember one of the people, is one of them looking like an old man with sort of slick backed hair.
They're all looking like that. And
he sang a song, and this is all I remember of Rosie and Jim. They were learning about, I think, just different foods, or maybe Italian cuisine, and what I remember is the Rosie and Jim, it had a very nice quaint theme tune in it. Rosie and Jim, something along on the old ragdoll. Oh, of course it's called the ragdoll. And anyway, and then the, like, nice logo would appear, and then it, like, the sound, I can imagine what the waveform looked like for their, like, edit. Like the ambient, beautiful, idyllic sounds of this bucolic England faded up. Whoosh, the water. That was a bird or a baby. And then the man just came, like, right up to the camera and went, oodles of noodles, and started singing about noodles for ages.
That sounds like it was probably Tootle, i.e. Neil Brewer, who was the last and the longest running of them.
Really?
The first one, John Cunliffe, his favourite thing that I always remember is because he was in, like, an illustrator, and he'd take his two blue pens and he would draw a river. Yeah,
that's nice.
Using two pens at once.
I'd like to copy that.
The page.
Were the people just known by their real names?
Yeah.
That's quite strange. There's a lot of, like, fourth wall breaking in the Rosie and Jim verse.
Yeah, well, but you say that, but the first, John Cunliffe, who was also the creator of the show, he was the only one who directly addressed Rosie and Jim on screen, and also the only one who breaks the fourth wall to deliver, like, to camera pieces. Yeah.
And why did he stop? Did Rosie and Jim have enough of him? Did they drown him?
He disappeared.
Oh, goodness.
Mysterious circumstances.
Mysterious doll related circumstances.
So the like, there's nothing particularly like incredible about any of them really, but the sort of the section on the narrowboat owners comes to an end with this sentence: following the boat's redundancy from Ragdoll Productions,
sad.
It is no longer on display to the public. Like, it got called into the office, this boat.
God, that 2008 hit all of us.
Go.
That's really sad.
Now the next section is all the episodes, of which there were 175.
Find the noodles one, will you?
No.
Kevin, Control F oodles of noodles.
But almost none of them have any kind of description, or if they do, it's like the episode is called Hair, and the description is John visits Renoir Hair Salon in Birmingham.
That can't be interesting.
Oh yeah. No. Everywhere, everything is just them visiting some random place. In Birmingham or in the Midlands.
There's a lot of canal there.
But then, in the section for Pat Hutchins episode, so series 3 and series 4, she was the owner in the middle.
Okay.
There are a couple that have long descriptions or longer descriptions, just sort of randomly.
Well, they must be like some of the best episodes where most events took place.
Well, you say that?
Yeah.
In a way, yes.
Okay, good.
There's also, in the midst of that, episode 69.
That's the weed number.
It's called Bouncy Castles. Mm-hmm. And the note here says, featuring Minnie Mouse cameo.
Who's that?
Wait.
As in Mickey and Minnie?
Yeah.
Surely Disney did not sanction this.
Well, no, because the full sentence is featuring Minnie Mouse cameo on girl's shirt.
That's not a cameo.
She appeared in the background.
Wow, very cool.
So, for instance, episode 66, The Hat Factory.
Yes.
Pat visits the hat factory and sees how hats are made. Rosie wanted a red hat with some from Jim. They decorated a beautiful red hat for Rosie.
Somewhat from Jim.
Doesn't say. Doesn't say.
She wanted some from Jim.
I think made from his hair, maybe. The disappearing sausages. That was episode 67.
That's just a euphemism.
Pat's friends are going on a boating holiday, but Rosie and Jim wanted to go on a boating holiday too. Once they start to pack up, Jim wants to pack a pair of sausages, but Rosie refused, and after they finish packing up, they accidentally throw their suitcase on another boat and then got mixed up with someone else's suitcase.
This is madness. Someone's just railing these off from memory only and never spell checking them. Episode
71 was flood on the boat. Pat had a glass of water, then it ran out, so Rosie gives her another glass of water, but she had forgotten to turn the tap off at the sink.
Idiot,
and while
Rosie.
the water keeps flowing on, the whole room was flooded with water. When Pat saw what happened, she asked the man with the tractor to take the ragdoll boat out of the water, and Rosie and Jim see what's underneath the boat.
Can't do
when
that.
Rosie suddenly realised what she has done, and with the help from Jim, they managed to clean up and get the water off the boat and turn the tap off.
The end.
That's
so
that one.
It does resolve though, which is good.
Episode 80 was the floating restaurant.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Pat visits a mobile restaurant on a boat with a beautiful dress and had dinner there.
With a beautiful dress.
Pat ordered an ice cream for pudding, but Jim was so hungry and Rosie was serving the customers by giving them their ice cream.
But no one can see them.
Nope. When Jim starts to eat Pat's special ice cream, Rosie tries to take away, but Jim wants it, and then they throw the ice cream right onto Pat's face.
Fucking hell, these puppets are freaks.
And then one of the last ones that has an explanation, which again is the first one with Neil Brewer, the last guy. When Neil's harmonica slips out his hand and fell into the children's water bowl, and when he got it back, it had lost its toot. He went to a shop that sells musical instruments. He tried out the violin, the rock guitar, and then the drums.
I love the rock guitar.
At last, he tried out the new harmonica, and he thinks it's perfect.
Wow. Real full circle. That's the hero's journey.
So yeah, that was...
What an inane set of events taking place in every episode, but with an undertone of like something very deviant about it all. It sounds like Rosie and Jim spend a lot of time exploiting the fact that they exist in a sort of shadow world
where they can't be seen.
Where they both can interact with reality but cannot be held responsible legally for
any
the
of their
consequences of their evil.
Where they cannot be seen, testified against.
Yeah. Or tried in a court of law.
Yeah, it's just very... like... I had a little look, and Ragdoll Productions also made Brum.
I can see that.
Which
that's also just in Birmingham.
Also just in Birmingham, as the name suggests. But it seems that they they kind of specialise in one of two things, which is either very, very mundane Birmingham-based, like children's television, but then they also make Teletubbies and In the Night Garden. So they also make
they've got
hyper
a division,
surreal,
an LSD division.
When you turn up, you either go left or you go right, and you either end up making.
It's like the Madness Isles in Oblivion.
So when I saw that they were the same company that made Teletubbies, I figured I've got to have a little look at the Teletubbies one, because I can only imagine what sort of stuff gets said on this Wikipedia page.
Yeah, and the Teletubbies has a everyone knows.
Everyone knows the Teletubbies.
If you don't know Rosie and Jim though, guys, check it out. My mum used to hate it because it was so boring.
And now you know why.
And yeah, it reads. I don't think I was a big fan either. I think I detected something disturbing.
Well, it was the dolls, and you rewrote them in your head as people.
Yeah.
So the Teletubbies.
Yeah.
The programme focuses on 4 differently coloured creatures known as Teletubbies, named after the television screens implanted in their abdomens.
Don't say implanted, because it makes it sound like someone did an experiment on them.
Well, they did. Recognised throughout popular culture for the uniquely shaped antenna protruding from each of their characters.
That's not what they're recognised for.
The Teletubbies communicate through gibberish and were designed to bear resemblance to toddlers.
Okay, well, they failed on all accounts. Toddlers who've had TVs shoved straight into their tummies.
Plot. Now, this is one of those fantastic moments where, like, even though we all know looking at it that it's weird, surreal drivel, there's this strange thing where when it's written out in a kind of objective documenting of the facts, it sounds even more ludicrous than you could ever hope to capture. The programme takes place in a grassy, floral landscape populated by rabbits with bird calls audible in the background. What I like there is that it's not populated by birds.
There's none. There's canonically no birds. There's just a speaker.
You can just hear them.
Bird sound.
The main shelter of the 4 Teletubbies is an earth house known as the Tubbytronic Superdome, implanted in the ground and accessed through a hole at the top or an especially large semicircular door at the dome's foot. The Teletubbies coexist with a number of strange contraptions, such as the voice trumpets and the group's anthropomorphic blue vacuum cleaner, the Nunu.
Oh, the Nunu.
The Nunu.
Fuck, I didn't know you had the title.
Show's colourful psychedelic setting was designed specifically to appeal to the attention spans of infants. An assortment of rituals are performed throughout the course of every episode, such as the playful interactions between the Teletubbies and the voice trumpets, mishaps caused by the Nunu, the footage of children displayed on the screens in the Teletubbies' stomachs, and the magical event that occurs once per episode.
What's that?
So it changes every time. So, for instance, one such magical event you know all about.
Goodness. Can I just say as well that they've buried one fact there, which is the thing that always annoyed me about the Teletubbies.
Which is that they do it twice.
They play the bit with the, like, where it cut to real children is by far the worst and most boring bit, because, you know, it would just be like children doing something very dull.
Oh, yeah, like unspeakably dull, as we're going to find out.
There was one that I remember where they were just counting pennies, for maybe 3 minutes. And then they would finish that bit, and it would, like, zoom out of their horrid, bloated
Because only one of their tummies shows something.
Yeah, it's like they've been selected. Yeah, kind of the lottery, Shirley Jackson-esque hell dystopia.
And then all the others go... Again,
and then you zoom right back in and watch. Let me just say exactly the same thing, beat for beat,
from start to finish, not a highlight reel.
I mean, to be honest, it's shit. Like, maybe we should start doing that on the show. I say like again,
partway through,
we play this bit.
We go back to Rosie and Jim. The event differs each time. It is often caused inexplicably and is frequently strange yet whimsical. Okay. Each episode is closed by the voice trumpets and the narrators.
Have they not mentioned the baby son even once?
The disappointed, reluctant, but eventually obedient Teletubbies bid farewell to the viewer as they go back to the Tubbytronic Superdome while the sun baby sets.
Yeah, they should have mentioned the sun baby earlier because it's a very integral part of the vibe.
It is just the sun, and then there's a video of a baby in it.
Don't ruin the magic.
Sorry, there's a sun baby.
Yeah.
The main characters.
Oh, here we go.
Tinky Winky is the first Teletubby.
In what sense?
As well as...
Was she like the progenitor of the rest? Is Poe made from his rib?
There is something of like a hierarchy to it.
I didn't realise. And I certainly wouldn't have put TW on top of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, he is the largest and the oldest of the group.
Why does he not simply eat?
He is
smaller.
He is covered in purple terry cloth and has a triangular antenna on his head. He often carries a red bag.
Oh, yeah.
Dipsy is the second Teletubby. He is green and named after his antenna, which resembles a dipstick. Dipsy is the most stubborn of the Teletubbies and occasionally will refuse to go along with the others' group opinion. His face is noticeably darker than the rest of the Teletubbies, and the creators have stated that he is black.
Okay.
Well, he often wears a large hat with a black and white pattern.
Not that I recall.
Yep.
But sure.
Lala, played by Nikki Smedley, is the third Teletubby. She is yellow and has a curly antenna. Lala is very sweet, likes to sing and dance, and is often shown looking out for the other Teletubbies. Her favourite toy is an orange rubber ball.
That's good.
And then there's Poe. Poe is the fourth Teletubby, as well as the shortest and youngest.
Yeah, Poe's clearly a baby.
She is red and has an antenna shaped like a stick for blowing soap bubbles. Poe normally speaks in a soft voice and has been stated by the show's creators to be Cantonese. She sometimes speaks the language. Her favourite toy is a red and blue scooter.
She speaks Cantonese in the Teletubbies.
Apparently so.
That's amazing.
I
did not know that. I mean, they barely say words in any language.
Well, they don't. They speak in gibberish, as we heard earlier.
They just go noisy.
So there are some supporting characters.
Yeah.
The Nunu,
of course,
is a sentient vacuum cleaner.
I didn't know he was sentient necessarily. I mean, I knew he roamed around.
Well, what do you...
I thought he was just a sort of
He had
Roomba.
eyes and he could see and he was like interacting with them. Yeah. He had to be sentient because, get this,
he voted UKIP.
He's a sentient vacuum cleaner who acts as both the Teletubbies' guardian and housekeeper.
In what sense? What does he guard them from? Dust.
He guards them from all those bird noises.
That's nonsense.
He hardly ever ventures outside the Tubbytronic Superdome,
yeah,
instead remaining indoors and constly cleaning with his sucker-like nose. He communicates through a series of slurping
His commute from the back of the Tubbytronic Superdome to the middle
takes at least 3 minutes. He communicates through a series of slurping and sucking noises.
Don't we all?
He occasionally misbehaves and sucks up anything from tubby toast to blankets, which prompts the Teletubbies to call him Naughty Nunu and give chase. He was blue in the original series.
Yeah.
Yeah, and had orange, pink, and yellow stripes in the revival series.
Oh.
There was a revival series.
I did not know about this. Recent or no?
Couldn't tell you.
Hopefully not. I'll check it out.
I didn't get involved. November 2015.
The
voice trumpets are several devices resembling periscopes that rise from the ground and interact with the Teletubbies, often engaging in games.
Here's how they sound. Exactly like this. Time for Tubby bye-bye. Time for Tubby bye-bye. They've got a really
interact is a strong word.
Yeah, they don't interact, they just bellow. But they've got a really... They were by far the scariest. They've got like a Half-Life 2 energy where they seem like relics of a kind of...
And they just slowly
age.
rise up from the ground.
And the way they speak is so like... They're so laconic and so like detached from every aspect. Like they don't care that it's time to be.
No, it is very like post-apocalyptic. Yeah. Like these have
just been there for thousands of years
from a different.
It reminds me of that Anne Washburn play that our friend Joe Dange told us about, where it's like Mr. Burns, the story of the HMS Pinafore episode of The Simpsons has become like the only legend left over from civilization, and they just keep playing it forever. And it just becomes so detached from its original meaning that it becomes like the creation myth of the entire planet or something. And it's like, it's those things that just rise. It's like they've built superstitions around them, and you can see a religion form.
Well, we're going to come on to that in a minute. We're going to come on to that, don't you worry. There's just a couple of other supporting characters to have a little look through. First of all, the Sun Baby.
Yeah.
Appears at the beginning and end of each episode. I like this sentence. She acts as a wake-up call for the Teletubbies. Which makes it
sort yourselves out, Tubbies.
Not like an alarm. As in numerous rabbits are found throughout Teletubby land and are depicted by several Flemish giant rabbits.
Oh, very
The Teletubbies enjoy watching them hop and play. The rabbits are the only type of earth animal, found in the land, and take residence in rabbit holes and bushes.
What non-earth animals are there?
Goodness knows.
I don't think any.
But there's some sort of creepy stuff that comes in and out every now and then. There were lots of live events, apparently.
I wish I could have gone to a live Teletubby event.
Then, of course, we come to the Tinky Winky controversy. Controversy.
Yeah. And we're going to be treating this with sensitivity, guys. Trigger warning. Well, what content warning do we need for this?
It's homophobia.
It's very homophobic.
A controversy began in 1999 related to Tinky Winky and his carrying a bag that looks much like a woman's handbag, although he was first, quote, outed by the academics and cultural critic Andy Medhurst in a letter of July 1997 to The Face.
What about?
Well,
subject line, fury at Winky.
Tinky Winky, queer. He aroused the interest of Jerry Falwell in 1999 when Falwell alleged the
Imagine that sentence relating to a purple, like, fictional alien. He aroused
with a triangular
the interest
antenna.
of...
Falwell alleged the character was a, quote, gay role model Falwell issued an attack in his National Liberty Journal, citing a Washington Post in-out column, which stated that lesbian comedian Ellen DeGeneres was out as the chief national gay representative, while trendy Tinky Winky was in.
Oh my God.
He warned parents that Tinky Winky could be a covert homosexual symbol because he is, quote, he is purple, the gay pride colour, and his antenna is shaped like a triangle, the gay pride symbol.
Right.
The BBC made an official response explaining that Tinky Winky is simply a sweet technological baby with a magic bag.
That's my Twitter bio.
Ken Wieselman of Itsy Bitsy Entertainment commented, "He's not gay, he's not straight, he's just a character in a children's series." In May 2007, Polish Ombudsman for Children, Eva Sawinska, revisited the matter and planned to order an investigation.
This person's a big hard drive check. What was it? The Minister for...
The Ombudsman for Children.
For Children. Fucking hell.
I noticed that he has a woman's handbag, but I didn't realise he's a boy, Sawinska said in a public statement.
But now that I have...
She asked for her office's psychologists to look into the allegations.
Stop.
After the research in late 2007, she stated, "The opinion of a leading sexologist who maintains that this series has no negative effects on a child's psychology is perfectly credible. As a result, I've decided it is no longer necessary to seek the opinion of other psychologists."
And I apologise for wasting everyone's time and getting actual academics to watch the Teletubbies.
Then the Lion and the Bear controversy.
Why are they controversial?
Well,
they were the best
in
part.
April 19...
Can you explain some context?
We're going to come to it because it's included. In April 1997, the episode titled Seesaw aired and featured a sketch about a cutout lion chasing a cutout bear.
It's not a sketch.
The sketch was criticised for its unsettling cinematography,
incredibly unsettling.
Music, and character design, and was deemed inappropriate for children.
I am the lion, and I'm looking for the bear. I'm looking over here, and I'm looking over there. He purposefully, whoever delivers that, he stays right away from the beat.
Yeah.
He won't be, I am the lion and I'm looking for the... He's like, I'm looking over here and I'm looking over there. It really gets under your skin.
And then they're on like roller wheels.
They appear from behind bushes.
And they just sort of like slide across the landscape and the eyes move left and right.
And the bear, they're all like looking at you from an angle. And then it devolves eventually into just a sort of like cackle fest while they chase each other. They're like, woo!
It's like if you sort of like removed the sound from a Benny Hill sketch and then instead put some sort of weird psychedelic music.
I absolutely loved that to watch.
Well, unfortunately, it was subsequently banned in several countries. And in 2000, a revised version of the sketch was aired with adjusted editing, sound design, and voice acting to improve the tone.
I'd love to see how they tried to make this obviously terrifying.
Yeah, it must have the same kind of like feeling as when they tried to do the like cuts without swearing for TV.
Oh yeah,
like these Monday to Friday snakes.
The edits that they do for planes of like disaster movies where they just cut out everything
plane crash,
that involves planes. It's like 12 minutes long.
And then there's a section here that's analysis, which I think you might enjoy.
Yeah,
Adam Roberts suggests that Teletubbies constitutes an example of radical utopian fiction. In this reading, the Teletubbies are an advanced culture which has eliminated all need to work, worry, or struggle in any way and regressed into a childlike state. Doesn't necessarily explain how they came to have the televisions embedded, nor look like huge freakish fur babies.
That's probably what led them to getting rid of the work and struggle.
What are you going to do? Be an accountant?
Swallow down a TV.
Roberts positions the Teletubbies as the endpoint of the science fiction idea of paradise based on infantilization, a more extreme version of the future humans in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, and the Eloy in H.G. Wells' The Time Machine.
And they're like the Wall-E people, maybe.
Yeah, but like worse.
Well, yeah, they would continue on for a long time, and then
the Eloy, in case you didn't know, who are mentally childlike, but physically and sexually adult.
Oh, awful!
Following Sigmund Freud's insight that adult pleasure must mediate id and superego, gratification and anxiety, the only way to attain a completely stress-free life is to surrender the superego, including sex. It follows that the broadcasts shown on the Teletubbies inset televisions are historical documentaries suggesting infantile existence as the paradigm, with the baby in the sun likely being the society's central machine intelligence.
That's an amazing take.
Roberts concludes, quote, "In other words, the toddler-oriented aspect of the show can be read not in clumsily production intention terms, the show is designed to appeal to toddlers, but as a commentary upon the necessary infantilization implicit in any utopian fantasy. It poses a question: to achieve a total happiness for all on the planet once technology has removed the practical barriers, how far along the road towards infantile consciousness will it be necessary to travel?
Wow.
Will we become like the citizens of Huxley's Brave New World or more infantile like Wells's Eloy? Or will we go the whole hog and subsume our angst-ridden adult consciousnesses completely in the bright colours and satisfying repetitions of Teletubbyland? The enduring appeal of the Teletubbies to adults suggests, perhaps, this latter.
Counterpoint, though, what's Nunu? He's like angst embodied, isn't he?
Yeah, well,
sucking up tubby custard.
But he's technology, isn't he? So that's just proof. Of that technology brings that anxiety.
So they should just like cremate him and put his
I think
ashes
he's
in the
kept
grass.
there as some kind of warning, like a relic from a future or from a fierce
Very
past.
I love the idea of them watching historical documentaries. That's made that bit much more interesting now, because of course they'd want to see it again.
Because
To really,
it's the
yeah,
only
they're
link
probably
to the
taking
past.
notes. That's probably what's in Tinky Winky's bag, is his big notebook.
They weren't writing down. They were just doing a little dance.
That's really very good.
So this is another one where I'm pretty sure the episode descriptions have been written by children who have watched them. So
they've just finished watching the episode.
There are, let me tell you, hundreds and hundreds of episodes.
Is it a British production?
485 episodes at the last count.
Was it produced by the BBC?
Ragdoll.
It was Ragdoll as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Crazy.
Ragdoll as well, yeah. They ended up filming it on the same farm as they filmed Tots TV.
No. What the fuck happened to that place then?
Yeah, well,
Tots TV was like the bayou. By comparison to the sort of car park AstroTurf.
They couldn't find anywhere that had a necessary dip, is what they said, and so they ended up going back to this farm.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's what they wanted. They wanted it to like exist in a weird bowl.
I like that. They should have filmed it in the Eden Project. It had that vibe.
So I've sort of just picked out a few from the early seasons because I could not.
They were the best, right?
Like we're talking about the length of some of these episode descriptions here. Like they're huge. But here we go. This one here is episode 2. Our pig Winnie.
Love that one.
The Teletubbies. Sorry, the
Teletubbies.
Teletubbies pop up from behind a hill to say, "Uh-oh." They watch a group of siblings named Matthew, James, and Mark talk about their pig Winnie. Following this, the Teletubbies perform a jumping dance.
Oh, I love that one.
They play a game called This Little Teletubby, in which Dipsy goes for a walk and the other 3 stay at home.
I play that game all the time.
Tinky Winky has tubby custard, Lala and Po have no custard, and Dipsy runs home. The Teletubbies wave goodbye afterwards.
What a disjointed series of events. That's like reporting from an institution of some kind.
The Teletubbies join in a game. This is episode 3, The Grand Old Duke of York.
Oh,
the Teletubbies join in a game when a voice trumpet sings The Grand Old Duke of York. The Magic Windmill brings a musical transmission featuring King Pleasure and the Biscuit Boys.
Stop. What are they doing in the Tubbysphere?
Yeah. After watching the performance, the Teletubbies do the stamping and stepping dance. A drum appears in Teletubbyland shortly afterwards. Poe beats the drum, causing strange things to occur. After the special drum disappears, the magic windmill starts spinning. The Teletubbies watch a puppet man singing inside his house. After the house disappears, the magic windmill stops spinning and the Teletubbies wave bye-bye.
You can't show children that and then wonder why everyone's so absolutely fucked up now.
Painting with hands and feet. This is episode 5.
Stuff like this.
The Teletubbies do a conga dance before the magic windmill spins, and the Teletubbies watch some children painting with their hands and feet. Later, Tinky Winky comes down the slide from inside the home hill. As he is about to walk forwards, he stops and says, "Uh-oh, somebody has spilled their tubby custard on the floor. Whoever it was has left footprints." Tinky Winky follows the footsteps to the place where Dipsy is sitting with the rabbits, but Dipsy didn't spill the tubby custard, so Tinky Winky and Dipsy follow the footprints to the place where Lala is dancing, but Lala didn't spill the tubby custard either. Tinky Winky, Dipsy and Lala follow the trail around the Teletubby until they find out who spilled the tubby custard. They soon reach the home hill and follow the footprints inside the place where Poe is fast asleep. They all discover it was Poe who spilled the tubby custard, and they have a good laugh.
Poe got framed, I bet.
Oh, mate, it was Nunu.
Yeah, it was clearly Nunu wearing his horrible clogs. Nunu's freak clogs.
Dad's Lorry is episode 8.
They're very weirdly like quotidian names for episodes where only mad stuff happens.
Well, they're all named after what the video is.
That's really an odd choice.
Yeah, and in this one, when the Teletubbies get inside the home hill, Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala and Poe goes down the slide and they go outside in Teletubbyland, then the magic windmill started to spin, so Teletubbies
Why they always mention that happens every episode?
So they run off to watch a girl discussing about her dad's lorry.
Quick!
in Teletubbyland, Dipsy was going for a long walk to see the other Teletubbies. First, Dipsy starts his walk near the magic windmill, then goes inside the home hill, and Dipsy and Poe go outside the Teletubbyland. So Poe found her scooter, and then Dipsy takes another walk. He met Tinky Winky playing his bag.
His bag?
Yep. Dipsy then say hello to Tinky Winky, and he says, uh-oh, back to Dipsy.
Nice.
Also, Dipsy then goes for another walk, and he climbs up the hill and down the hill, and Lala's ball bounced up and down behind the hill. Dipsy then says, uh-oh, to Lala.
This is not a description,
and
it's
Lala
just a
says,
list.
uh-oh, back to Dipsy.
It's
and
just
Poe
everything
rides
that
the
happens.
scooter, is following Dipsy on a walk. Then Poe laid down the hill,
No.
and you could see a hill with flowers on it, and some trees on the left and on the right. You could see
Both
the
the
magic
left and
windmill.
right?
On the left and on a right.
Oh, okay, my mistake.
You could see the magic windmill behind the hill and also a rabbit. So Dipsy climbs on the hill to see
Don't
a
say
faraway
so.
place.
That doesn't follow.
He looked at the home hill. So Dipsy keeps walking. So Dipsy and Poe takes another
Stop.
walk. Also, Poe found her scooter. So Dipsy keeps walking
didn't know
while
it was
Poe
lost.
rides her scooter. And Dipsy climbs up the hill and down the hill to see Lala again.
This is a
and there's an
truly
orange
obscene
ball again
quantity
bouncing
of
up and
detail.
down
I
behind
feel like
the
I'm
hilly
losing
hill.
my mind.
So
I can't hear another minute.
So Dipsy says, uh-oh to Lala again. And Lala says, uh-oh to
So the
Dipsy.
credits start.
Then Dipsy walks by Tinky Winky and says, uh-oh to Tinky Winky.
He
says, uh-oh to Dipsy. Then
I'm
Dipsy
turning the
says,
episode
uh-oh
off.
to the rabbits.
I'm sorry,
You can
everyone.
also see the home hill. So as the other Teletubbies, Dipsy has a wonderful time on a walk. He
It
goes
didn't
inside
sound
the
wonderful.
home
It
hill.
sounded so
and then
stressful. It's giving me anxiety.
and then Dipsy fetches with the other Teletubbies in time for Tubby Bye-Bye.
All of that can't have happened in one episode unless it was like a bumper, 2.5 hour
It was a
feature
long
length.
one. It was
Fucking
shown
hell.
in like CinemaScope as well.
That's awful.
But like so
Weird that
many
they're
of them are like that.
allowed to keep those. If you check out the talk page, there must be people being like unnecessarily insane level of detail.
There's one person who just like rides roughshod all over the Teletubby Wikipedia editing
really
community.
problematic, I think.
But yeah, I mean, like,
don't read any more.
That was all of them. Yeah.
I don't want to know
Nearly all of
another
them are just
another
very,
thing
very
about
long
the
like
Tubbies.
that. They have one called Gospel Singing,
Yep.
Arthur Robot Story,
Arthur.
Hey Diddle Diddle, and then followed by Dirty Dog.
I don't like
It's
that.
not good.
That B-side.
So, what have we learned today, Isaac?
Well,
how would you sum up?
Thanks
what
for
you've
throwing
learned
to
from
me.
today? That's okay.
What I've learned is that I was right to dislike Rosie and Jim because there was a darkness there and a kind of off-kilter, like Coraline-esque existing in the corners of your eye element to those puppets that I'd completely erased from my memory but was correct to rebuke.
Yeah, they're like mischievous spirits, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're clearly the kind that start off mischievous, and then when you like get involved for a bit of fun mischief, they will fuck you up.
They'll fuck you up. They'll throw your ice cream
They'll
right
probably
on your
like
face.
the ragdoll boat is probably the home to so many child bones.
Maybe that's why they were so worried when that tractor was going to pull it out.
Yeah, they were like,
If
"Don't
the
look,
hull opens up.
don't look!" And they killed the tractorman. And drowned him in the
and
canal.
they made the boat redundant.
Yeah, just to cover the trail.
Yeah.
It's awful. And then on the Teletubbies note, I've always had a love-hate relationship with those guys because the show is objectively super boring to watch. And because my mum's a nanny, I had to watch a lot of it with little kids that she was looking after because children do like the Teletubbies.
They
in my
can't get
experience.
enough, to be honest.
However, it's amazing that there's like so much unnecessary stuff going on. And I think that's the main theme that I always think about when we talk about children's TV. Like, children are very easily entertained by stories. You can just make one up and they'll like it. You'd be like, once upon a time there was this fish. And they'll be like, oh my God, really?
Wait, where?
Like, no,
Who was it?
I made it up. But let's go with it. And that can do you for half an hour of chat. But the fact that so many bizarre layers have to be chucked on, it's almost like they just use the production of children's TV as an experimental ground for like, what's the strangest thing you can do to a child's mind, and it still turns out to be like vaguely okay.
How haunting can we make this lion chasing a bear?
And they absolutely bottomed out as far as I'm concerned because any more upsetting and it would straightforwardly be a horror film, those sections.
If it was just moderately less colourful.
Yeah, if it had even a drop of blood on its face, then you would be arrested for looking at it. And yeah, I just always wonder, like, the circumstances of their creation. It seems like in a world in which so much TV is very sanitized and commercialized to the point of like having all of the edges kind of smoothed away, so that you end up with like 400 witch and vampire, young adult, Twilight-esque rip-off shows and Buffy shows and things like that, which have been kind of churned out for the last 30 years, it feels like. Like, how does that whole wheel keep on spinning? But then, like, if you just peel back the curtain to the children's TV area, it's like all of the people who got kicked off these other productions for pitching the weirdest shit. Like, what if Edward and Bella can only communicate through a fucking magic windmill or a pipe that just appears in the middle of the floor and harkens back to the normal human days?
Like, the magical events that happen every episode at the turning of the magic windmill vary so hugely in, like, tone and scope. Like, the very first episode, the one which is one that I kind of quite vividly remember watching.
Oh yeah.
There's just like a Noah's Ark, animals walking 2 by 2 onto a boat.
I do vaguely remember that.
But like it's all like slowly coming over the. Then there's another one where the whole valley floods and 3 ships float by, and then it all just disappears.
That's distressing.
And it's A, it is distressing, but B, also it's so incredibly and just like boldly contrived to be like, well, the rest of the episode consists of objectively nothing happening. Like, it's 4 things. We watch the same shit video twice. The rest of them is Dipsy going for a walk.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to end every episode by doing a magic windmill.
We've got David Lynch to direct a 2.5 minute nightmare-scape.
And then then they can all say goodbye. And there's a baby in the sun and it goes,
that's how it goes. I do quite like it though. Like, I think my criticism of a lot of like children's media is that it is so bland and dull.
Yeah,
and children do have the capacity to like and talk about very interesting and weird things.
Yeah, and to understand them.
Maybe the Teletubbies should have lent into it even more and gone like even stranger. And maybe the Bear and the Lion should have a spin-off where they just exist in the Black Lodge.
About like death.
They're just smoking. They're just smoking a joint, and like Nunu floats by every so often, screaming silently. And the whole thing, every so often, there's just like a boom, and they all just look to the left of the screen, and then it slowly dissolves back.
Play.
Yeah, that actually, like, the closest tonal match to a lot of children's TV is Waiting for Godot. Like, it exists in a sphere where it's
that especially Teletubbies.
It's super boring on one level, but the like absence of any framework for what normal narrative should be gives it like a very mysteriously captivating quality. And where it's at its best, the Teletubbies tapped into that, which is why I was never a Tweenies fan, because it never did. It was always just relentless,
like sound,
just relentless sound color,
yeah.
And it's like the quietness of those programs that I think works really well. Maybe In the Night Garden does do that, and I'm just being, because I'm not a baby these days, so I'm not necessarily the target audience.
A bit older than that.
Yeah, I'm in my early 20s.
You've got your sort of greys coming in
my early 20s. Many are saying. But yeah, that's my feelings.
3-0.
That's probably where we'll end the episode. If you want to keep ruining it, how's this for a magic event? You're off the show.
Oh, fuck.
The windmill's turned, and I've replaced you with the bear.
Oh God, he's in Isaac.
Oh, I'm looking for Declan. Yeah, well, there we go. A deep dive, if ever a dive were done, I would say. We've got a bunch of socials out there on the internet.
We do, fair few of them.
I'd love you to talk us through them, because it's not really my domain.
I suppose we can split the honours, because you're probably better at talking about the Twitch and the Discord. Okay. Why don't you talk about those for a second?
Let me talk to you about the Twitch. Twitch.tv is one of these up-and-coming gamers websites. But wait, I hear you saying, not that kind of website. No. Most of those have been shut down these days. This is a gamers website where you can see me and Declan, sometimes just me.
Oh.
What?
No, it's just him. I was like, what?
I see.
I thought you were throwing me off another thing.
You can see us playing some games. I've mostly been using it, and the motivation for starting it originally, apart from it always being fun, is that I've just got a huge backlog of media that I haven't really consumed on account of my worsening by the day ability to focus on anything for more than 1 or 2 seconds. But yeah, we've played some fun stuff, and we're streaming at the moment on a schedule that's relatively tight.
Yeah.
Today notwithstanding.
No.
Monday to Thursday,
Monday to Wednesday, 9 p.m.
Yeah, Thursdays at 10
p.m. And then Sundays at scare quotes 9.
Yeah, but it's really anything goes. But if you follow us, we're at shame.city/Twitch or Shame City with 2 Ys on Twitch. Follow us, you'll get a little notification on your app when we go live. We'd love to see you there.
It'd be great.
We'd be vibing, to be honest, and we're heading slowly but surely towards affiliate status.
And if you head over to shame.city/Discord, you get updated about it there as well.
That's huge.
And there's people having a chat. Yeah. You'll meet some of the other stream viewers in there.
We're starting a new NFT channel where we brainstorm and create some big NFTs for us to make
Isaac
millions
posts a lot of his art in there, and you get to, well, you don't have to look at it. You might not want to.
What else?
You can send us an email. Send us an email. I had an email in a bit.
Yeah. People have gone off email as a medium.
I hate it, to be honest. I despise it.
It might be because you're so negative about it that people don't use it.
But what I have repeatedly said is it's the one type of email I do like to get.
It might be scaring people the way you are about email, though.
No, because I go like, oh, for fuck's sake, and then I go, oh my god, email! Like when I see that it's from that.
I haven't heard you do that, so I didn't know.
Well, you've never been in the room.
No, that's true.
You've never been in the room. But yeah, TAS, TAS, that is, at shame.city. Send us anything there.
It's a huge
what
address.
You think, what you want, what you know.
Yeah, what you could know.
What we could know.
Yeah.
Anything like that. You can find us on Twitter at Shame City Gang.
Yeah.
And Isaac's artworks get put up there every time we do it.
We'd love to see them.
They're really quite something. He's niftying all over the gaff. We've also got patreon.com/Shame City.
Yeah.
If you head over there, then there's going to be bonus content. We're about to record this week's bonus content.
Yeah, because if one episode's not enough, and let's be honest, it's not.
No,
and you can get
really ain't.
1 million extra episodes for $5.
There's a million episodes. No, you can't say that. After last week's financial ruin, we can't be talking about that.
There could be.
There's dozens.
Yeah, there could be as many as 1 million.
There could be 1 million.
There's up to a million episodes.
There's nowhere near 1 million episodes on there.
And that's, what, £25,000 a month?
No, just $5.
Oh my god, that's
just
much
$5
less.
a
and
month.
Therefore, it's basically free.
It is basically free, and you get loads of stuff, and you get all the stuff that's already been done.
What else are you going to spend $5 on? Rent?
Come off it.
Food? Come on. No. Do spend it on those first. But if you have any left over, then flick it our way, and together we'll play on the patreon.com/Shame City. 1 million episodes.
No.
I've done it again.
I can't be saying this.
That's all there, isn't it? You don't
I think that's
else.
everything, isn't it?
Yeah, it better fucking have be. Let's summarise. Shame City on Twitch. That's got 2 Ys. Shame.city/Discord. Come and hang out. Patreon.com/Shame City. Shame City Gang. TAS at Shame.city. I've been Isaac. I've been
Declan.
See you next week.
You were
Time
Mr.
for Tubby. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you.